be. And like we're very proud to see March here today, and he held that tricolour with the highest respect and dignity, and I'm delighted to see March here tonight. He's really made the night. And would you come up? Or would
When I came in tonight, Charlie asked me would I read a piece during tonight's session, and I said I'd be honoured. I didn't realise until I looked at the piece that this should ideally be delivered by a strong female voice, which I don't meet either of those criteria. But I must say, anytime I hear this recited or see it in print, I have really very fond memories of two people. The late Micheál Mac Liammóir, who might meet the criteria in a way, but, who I had the great privilege of hearing deliver this on the stage of the old town hall in Claremorris about 40 years ago, and with great passion, as Mac Liammóir, like the great thespian he was, did. And the other rendering that always stays in my mind, and Charlie mentioned there about the 1966 commemorations of the Rising. I had the great privilege of being involved in the founding of St. Patrick's Drama Group here in Westport back in 1964, so I'm no chicken now. But in 1966, we did a special stage presentation to mark the Golden Jubilee year of the Rising. And part of that was the staging of The Singer. And as part of that presentation, a neighbour of Charlie's from St. Mary's Crescent, Kathleen Kenny, who later became popularly known as Kay O'Grady. She married the ferryman Chris O'Grady of Clare Island, and sadly passed away all too young. But Kathleen recited the mother, with the greatest emotion. There wasn't a dry eye in the house, I can tell you. And now, I give it a go anyway. The mother, and as Charlie said, it's by Pádraig Mapiris. I do not grudge them, Lord. I do not grudge my two strong sons that I have seen go out to break their strength and die, they and a few, in bloody protest for a glorious thing. They shall be spoken of among their people. The generations shall remember them and call them blessed. But I will speak their names to my own heart in the long nights, the little names that were familiar once wrung my dead heart. Lord, thou art hard on mothers. We suffer in their coming and their going. And though I grudge them not, I weary of the long sorrow. And yet I have my joy. My sons were faithful and they fought. Well done. Just one final thought. Westport had a mother, the mother of Major John McBride, who had the awful trauma of a young lad arriving at her door out at Westport Quay to tell her he had been in a newsagent's in Westport in at the time of Major John's execution, and on the newspaper there was a mention of his execution. The McBride family hadn't even been aware of it, and he was delegated to run out and tell Major John's mother that her son had been executed. So Westport has one of these mothers, as has many areas around the country. And I thought it was particularly important that Mary McBride Walsh, a direct descendant of Major John, on the night she spoke during the official ceremonies here in Westport, out of the Customs House Gallery, she made the point, and a very valid point, that sometimes the huge sacrifices of mothers were forgotten. No, that like we remembered the men at the front, so to speak, but there was a huge trauma and sacrifice in so many families, and the huge sacrifice of mothers should always be remembered. Thank you very much.